Let me tell you something. If tomorrow wasn't promised, what would you give for today? Forget everything else. Forget everything else. Forget that there was any sunlight left. What would you spend today thinking about? Yourself or the man that's beside you? Or the man that you know you'll give everything in your heart for? We get one opportunity in life, one chance in life to do whatever you're gonna do.
Thank you, Kevin Sheedy. My fellow group mates and I would like to apply for the role of the sports science coach team. We all have a fair knowledge on science and of the sport basketball. This is the perfect role for us.
A sports science coach practically applies principles of science into the game to aid the players and to bring the best possible outcome of the players' performance into the game.
Basketball is a fast-paced game with 5 aside and 5 on the bench. It is a 48-minute game with 12-minute quarters. You need a lot of stamina and different movements are needed to play the game.
Newton's 3 laws are a part of our life and basketball. We are going to talk about how the Newton's laws and how they basketball. Here are some of the movements done in basketball: running, catching, jumping, shooting, dunking, and various arm movements. Sprinting, blocking, dribbling, bouncing, hand, feet, and finger skills. Speed, strength, vertical jumping, and stamina. Force is a part of daily life, like pulling a door handle or pushing an object. Forces are best described as a push, a pull, or a twist. For example, turning a tap is a twist force. The first law of motion is the law of inertia. The law of inertia is when an object is moving, it will keep on moving unless another force stops it. An example of this is when you leave a pen to roll on the table. It will only stop unless you stop it yourself or gravity comes into play.
The law of motion is the law of acceleration. What this means is the heavier an object becomes, the more force is needed to push that object as far as a lighter object. This is an important one for most sports, and an example is a school bag. The heavier it is, the more strength needed to carry it.
The third law of motion is, for every action there is an equal or opposite force. It is called the law of action or reaction. For every action there is a reaction. If you're doing something, there is an equal or opposite outcome. For example, dribbling a basketball. When you are holding a basketball, then you begin to bounce it. When you throw the ball down, that is the equal outcome. Then when it hits the ground and comes back up to your hand, that is the opposite outcome in you throwing the ball down to start your dribble. An example in real life is if you hit yourself. The reaction would be your hand will start to hurt.
Newton's law create the foundation of concepts used in sport movements. To improve in sport, training must revolve around Newton's laws and principles. There are 3 basic types of motion. From the first rule, when a basketball is shot, only if a player comes to block them or it gets deflected by the backboard, it will only stop. Otherwise, the ball will be still in the air. Hence, more force must be given to the ball if they are shooting from long distance, and less distance means less force is to be given. From the second law, the basketball has mass, but only the necessary force should be given, as too little or too much will not reach the hoop. The heavier the ball, the more force is needed. So when a basketball is fully pumped, more force will be needed. And if you throw a bowling ball, more force will be needed to get it into the hoop. From the third law, if the ball bounces, it will come back up, as that is the opposite force. If it hits the backboard, it will rebound off. So that's the opposite.
We can use Newton's laws to help improve training and playing basketball is by firstly understanding the principles. Firstly, you must understand that the ball will only be stopped unless an external force is in action. Meaning, you must block the player to stop the point, or if you're an attacker, you can use the backboard to assist you if your shots are too overpowered or too high. The second law means you have to apply extra force to get the ball into the hoop compared to a tennis ball. For the law, you can also understand that the less force is needed when you are closer to the hoop. If you are doing a throw in the ring, you apply as much force as a 3-point shot. The third law means that when we dribble, the ball bounces up as an opposite outcome.
Wins the series. It's Lillard. He got the shot off. Lillard